I know a lot of you are super excited to be playing Starfield, and we are closing in on it. I think first ability to play the game is going to be literally in a couple of weeks if you're going to get the early access. That is tremendous. I can't believe we're actually to the time when we're going to be playing like the biggest new IP of the entire generation. And I get a little bit of hate when I say something like that, and people go, well, what about Elden Ring? Or what about this? And I'm like, listen, this is the first, in my opinion, the first current gen only new IP, the biggest one. It's the reason to own a next gen console, in my opinion, right? If you don't agree with my opinion, hey, that's fine. I'm not saying that those other games are bad. I'm just saying that from my perspective, even God of War Ragnarok was cross-gen. So as good as that game was, there was no need to own a current gen PlayStation to play that. This is unlike the situation with Starfield. Now, Starfield, the review copies are already out in force, and we're seeing a lot of people kind of, I guess, break some of the embargoes and stuff. I'm not going to sell out everybody that's doing this, but I will say it definitely makes the game seem that much more exciting because we're, closing in on getting the game, and people are giving like these big updates on exactly what's going on. So a lot of people expect this game to be buggy or whatever, and I found that to be a little bit interesting because honestly, we saw now that the game that we're getting is like version 1.06 or something. So I honestly think that that's something that realistically us as fans should look at and think, hey, you know what? They actually did their due diligence. Like, from everything that we've heard, Starfield for the last year was just in a polishing state. It was in a completely playable from front to back, but it was getting polished and that kind of stuff. And I think that makes a ton of sense where all this stuff is concerned, because you want to make sure that the game is polished and plays good. And so when I saw this, I was looking out and I was going, this is very interesting because, first of all, I guess this is a Discord chat, and this guy is a reviewer, a confirmed reviewer. His actual Steam thing shows that he has indeed played and is playing Starfield. But the interesting part is, like, I'm not going to name him or whatever. I will link this, though, to the Twitter thing where we're talking about it. So this is what this guy has to say. It's mind-blowing how good the game looks for being creation engine. Also, 15 hours in and not a single bug. And somebody goes, there's bugs though. Wait, really? Because I take that what you say very seriously. I wasn't expecting such high praises about the graphics. Also, no bugs. What? And he says, I'm serious, no bugs. And someone jokes around, I'm canceling my pre-order. I don't buy Bethesda game not to have any bugs. And this guy says, I'll get into it in my review. This game is something, I'll tell you. So the thing is, people are trying to downplay this or whatever. And, the typical people trying to downplay it. So it sounds like, and this isn't the only one, there's other ones saying that this is like the most incredible game that they've ever played, etc., etc. And, I love the fact that we're seeing that. But at the same time, I think people are like, oh, well, don't get too hyped about it. It's one of those things where we don't want to get, everything kind of, everybody too excited and then have another Redfall situation. And I always point out that there's huge differences between this and Redfall. Microsoft latched on to Starfield as the next big thing, like, right away. The reason why they bought freaking ZeniMax was for Starfield, because they heard that Sony was trying to lock down Starfield as an exclusive. So again, the entire aspect that Microsoft understands how big this game is going to be is awesome. And the people that are trying to kind of downplay it and say, compare it to a Redfall, I don't think that comes out very well, because Microsoft, by their own admission, never really believed much in Redfall, but they were sort of stuck in a bind. Like, this game was forced on Arcane by Bethesda 3 years prior to Microsoft even buying them, doing a type of game that they had no experience doing, that they didn't really want to do. And Microsoft was left with a couple of choices, right? So you can cancel the game and get hate, you can delay the game and get hate, or you can, go ahead and release the game and get hate. Now, as someone who has played and beaten Redfall, I can say this. No amount of delays on that game were going to ever make it a great game. It just was never, it's never in the cards. Never going to happen. unfortunately. So when we look at this and we go, okay, well, what's going on with Bethesda? What's going on with this? According to multiple people that are playing this game and reviewing this game, it sounds like we're going to be seeing the 90+ rated game that most of us have been expecting, since the announcement first came to light to begin with. So, yeah, I think that this is definitely going to be the game that's going to put Xbox back on the map. I'm not saying that as a snarky thing or whatever. I don't care. It has nothing to do with PlayStation or Nintendo or anything like that. It's specifically only having to do with, the Xbox. And I think that the funny part to me is people keep talking about this lately. Microsoft's going to get out of putting consoles out. Microsoft wants to get out of the console business. And I've been kind of having these talks with people lately. I'm like, they literally bought Starfield to be a console exclusive because they were afraid that Sony would do it first. If you're going to get out of the console business, you're not going to spend $8 billion locking down an entire company, right? It doesn't make sense. People, honestly, and this is not a knock on anyone in particular, I just have heard this a lot lately. Oh, Microsoft is trying to get out. Listen, their court documents show they're already working on an Xbox Series X successor for next gen. They're releasing a Series S, the black one, the 1 terabyte one this year. Rumors say they're releasing a discless Xbox Series X next year. So they're going to continue making hardware. If Game Pass is 35 million, then probably 20 million of that is on Xbox. You're telling me Microsoft wants to throw away 20 million subscribers, piss off gamers everywhere, because a lot of the gamers that subscribe play on Xbox and PC, so they're not going to subscribe anymore. So just dump 20 million subscribers, billions of dollars a year. Also, they're going to just turn down the idea that they're going to get all that Fortnite money from microtransactions, the Apex money from microtransactions, the Warzone money from microtransactions, the GTA Online microtransaction monies, a place where they get 100% of the profits for first-party games, right? They're going to turn all that down, $10-12 billion a year, to do what? Only put their games on PlayStation and maybe Nintendo? They're not going to put Game Pass on those things. They've already said that they don't want them. Sony's never going to allow Game Pass on there because it has third-party games, and Sony gets 30% of third-party game sales. Microsoft is going to just allow and just put first-party stuff on there. That's going to be what, 3-4 releases a year? That's not a lot, right? They would lose so much money. People do not understand this. I'm actually surprised at how stupid some of the people sound when they talk about Xbox. Honestly, it blows my mind. This is basic business here. Even if they spent $1 billion R&D, which they don't, $1 billion R&D in, and they lose money on the hardware and all that stuff, right? They're still making $14-15 billion a year, and that's about to go up to over $20 billion a year, and Xbox is still making more money than they've ever made. Think about that. It's crazy. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Are you looking forward to Starfield? Are you excited seeing all these kind of leaked reviews? Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe, rack 'em up. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Out.